Everyone knows the cloud isn't automatically secure. Your team knows it, your leadership knows it, and yet most cloud security strategies are basically organized around one idea: hope. Hope that your provider covered it. Hope that your configs are right. Hope that no one misconfigured an S3 bucket this week. In this video, I'm going to give you the mental model that actually organizes cloud security. Types, real risks, and a 6-step framework you can stress test against how your org is set up today. By the end, you'll know exactly where the gaps usually live and what to do about them. Let's get into it. Cloud security is not a product. It's not a checkbox on a vendor's SOC 2 report. It's a shared responsibility, and that's the most important thing to internalize before anything else. Cloud providers secure the infrastructure, the physical data centers, the networking underneath it all. That's their lane. You are responsible for what lives on top of that. Your applications, your data, your access controls, your configurations. There's also a middle layer, the cloud services themselves. Things like identity and access management tools that are neither fully your responsibility nor fully theirs. This is a shared responsibility model, and it's where most security failures actually happen. Not because a provider failed, because the customer assumed the provider had it covered. Cloud security also covers something distinct from cloud network security. Worth separating them, cloud network security is narrowly focused on keeping unauthorized traffic out of your network layer. Cloud security is a full picture. Applications, containers, servers, data, and yes, the network too. If you're only thinking about network security, you're leaving a lot exposed. Let's talk about what goes wrong in cloud security, because the risks are not abstract. The first and most underrated risk, lack of visibility. On-premise, you own the stack. You can see everything. In the cloud, that direct control is gone. The shared infrastructure model means you're working with logs, dashboards, and monitoring tools instead of direct access. And when those aren't set up well, threats don't just sneak in. They sit there undetected. This is exactly the gap a SIEM is built to close. A SIEM, security, information, and event management tool, pulls in logs and telemetry from across your entire cloud environment and centralizes them. So instead of scattered dashboards, you get one place to detect, correlate, and investigate. Without it, you're stuck to reacting to threats you can't even see. With it, that sitting there undetected problem gets a lot smaller. Second risk, multitenancy. You're on shared infrastructure. That's the architecture. The security mechanisms that isolate tenants, virtualization, containerization, are solid, but they're not magic. If another tenant in your environment has a vulnerability and the isolation isn't airtight, that becomes your problem too. Your job is to make sure your application data layers have their own controls regardless of what the provider is doing at the infrastructure level. Third, access management. In dynamic cloud environments, access sprawl is constant. People get access they don't need. Old permissions don't get revoked. The principle of least privilege is preached everywhere and practiced inconsistently. Combine that with weak authentication, and you've got a breach waiting for the right moment. And fourth, compliance. Especially relevant if your org operates across regions, different jurisdictions, different standards. Moving data to the cloud doesn't move your compliance burden. It multiplies it if you're not deliberate about which providers are certified for what and how you're governing data flows. Now, the practical part. The FTC actually published a useful 6-step framework for securing cloud environments. It's straightforward, but most orgs are skipping at least 2 of these. Step 1, use what your provider gives you, but configure it for your organization. MFA, strong password policies, no hard-coded credentials in your applications or source code. Step 2, audit your cloud storage regularly. You can only protect data you know exists. Most cloud providers give you dashboards and admin consoles to track this. Use them. Test for misconfigurations. Keep comprehensive logs. And this is where a SIEM earns its keep. Those comprehensive logs are only useful if something is actually watching them. Step 3, Stop storing data you don't need. This is uncomfortable for orgs that default to store everything, we'll sort it out later. If you don't have a legitimate reason to retain data, dispose of it properly. Less data, smaller attack surface. Step 4, encrypt data you're not actively using. Backups, archives, anything that's sitting there. Think defense in depth. Have multiple layers, not just perimeter control. Step 5, actually listen to the warnings your provider sends. Cloud providers flag internet accessible repositories or security researchers report exposed data. This isn't just background noise. They're your early warning system. Feed those warnings into your SIM too, so provider alerts land in the same place as everything else instead of getting lost in a separate inbox. Step 6, own your security posture. Using a cloud provider doesn't transfer security responsibility. You still need a written data security program. You still need assigned staff. You still need a SOC. Read your cloud contracts. Understand where their responsibility ends and yours begins. If you're running through this list and finding gaps, you're not alone. The orgs that get breached are almost never missing all 6. They're usually missing only 2 or 3 of the obvious ones, and that's enough. So that's the map of cloud security types, risks, and a 6-step framework. So you can apply that to your actual environment to keep it secure.